All right, well, good morning, folks. I've got a couple of articles here. We're going to talk about disease, pestilences. Now we're going to talk about Israel being wiped off the map in the next video. And a lot of these things are directly, basically, word for word out of the Bible about what's going to happen in the end days, about pestilence and famines and wars, rumors of wars, and persecution of Christians in the last days. So let's get to taking a look at this one. Now this one is from truthcensored.net, and I spoke about depopulation efforts and vaccines yesterday, I believe it was, in a video. And we have more here. Evidence mounts that plague outbreak in Africa, and I did a video on the plague outbreak as well, is an engineered depopulation bioweapon. Now this information is coming out fast and furious. This is mounting similar stories, and when you see a big rise in these sorts of stories, you got to think there's got to be some truth behind them here. Isn't it interesting that just as Prince William calls for urgent depopulation efforts in Africa, we suddenly have rapid spread of plague from unknown origins? There's a deadly plague outbreak that is threatening Africa, where thousands of people have been affected. Over 143 are now reported dead. Health officials are unsure how this year's outbreak began. Experts warn the disease spreads quicker in heavily populated areas. So we can see Madagascar here and where the diseases are spreading from there. Malawi is bracing itself for an outbreak of the plague after deadly disease continues to spread across the island of Madagascar. More than 2,000 people have been infected in Madagascar since the outbreak. And this is the sort of thing, like I said, that's going to travel real quick via planes, etc., because of the movement that we have around the Earth these days. This is a pretty significant depopulation efforts. There's global, and you could say this is a conspiracy, but there's a global effort here. It seems in the name of science and saving Mother Earth to depopulate, and God simply doesn't require us to manage this sort of thing. He can manage it fine. He has the Earth can sustain double the amount of people that are on the Earth now. Now, yes, we got to take care of the Earth, but the Earth certainly has no trouble sustaining it. This is one article from the commonsenseshow.com. And pandemic spread by ISIS. Pandemic agents spread by ISIS drones will result in UN-controlled medical martial law. And, any excuse to implement martial law generally is what people say anyways, as the conspiracy goes. And this is one I hadn't heard before, ISIS spreading it by drones, which is a new way. And they could also spread dirty bombs and dirty, nuclear material via drones. The United States government is under attack from the deep state. A coup is underway, and a newfound strategy is being employed. The strategy is called medical martial law, and it involves the use of thinly veiled FEMA camps. So previously, the Common Sense Show reported that the United Nations has been granted an authority to take over policing activities in the event of a national emergency. So the United Nations apparently has control now over the U.S. in some manner. United States is announcing support for a set of principles that give a green light for UN peacekeeping troops and police to use the force to protect citizens in armed conflict. Please allow me to spell this out very clearly, the writer says. The deep state is succeeding in lining up unlimited funding and willing participants to bring, holy hell, they say, to America. It has already started. Now the government has sold us out and has agreed to let the blue helmets take over the country and set contrived consequences promulgated by the left. And so there you go. I'm going to put the the links to both these articles here. It's just interesting that medical FEMA camps, that could be one excuse for a martial law there. And so there you go. Interesting stuff. Is it true? Will it come true? I think all these things will eventually be employed one way or another when things really collapse. the government's getting ready for all situations. The UN is getting ready for any eventualities. And so these sorts of things, spread of pandemics, martial law, government enforcement of things that they think is right, persecution of Christians, all these things really come together in a government, in a world that's gone off the rails, basically. I think it's pretty interesting articles. You got to take these with a grain of salt. And we never know when these things are really going to break out and get to us. We've had scares like, Zika virus and all these things in the past. When are they going to get to North America? Are they going to spread across the world? I think God has a lot of checks and balances in to prevent them from spreading around the earth. But the Bible does say in the end times there's going to be pestilences and plagues on man. And huge numbers of humans are going to die from these things. So these are coming. We know they're coming. We're watching them. Will the trouble in Madagascar come to the rest of us? Will it be the start of the tribulation period, something like this? We don't know. We don't know how far it's going to go, and I think a good, honest Christian needs to be, again, honest with himself that these things may not go worldwide. This may not be a big conspiratorial event, but it may be a significant event, and it may be that these things are simply slowly building like birth pains, and we'll see more and more outbreaks, and we'll see wider and wider spread of these particular outbreaks. So it's something to watch, pay attention to, be aware of, and be prepared for to some extent. So I'll leave there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.